So hello everyone, thanks for your question and I will be really happy to answer to them today. So first question, do animal brains have the same organization as human? So it really depends on the species. If we look at species that are really close to us, like the monkeys for example, or even the mammals, we see a general organization with the frontal, prefrontal cortex, motor cortex, temporal area, and etc. But if you look at other species that are a bit more distant from humans, such as birds or even insects, then we see that their brain is completely different and that the organization is absolutely not the same. So second question, do I work directly on animals? So yeah, I have worked and I still work on animals, and especially with dogs, wolves, and also baboons. So third question, do I travel to see the animal I study in the wild? So unfortunately, no, for work I'm not traveling to see the animal I'm studying. I'm mainly working on captive animals, but it's definitely something I do on my private time. So fourth question, do animals that are closely related process language in a similar way? So that's actually a really good question because it's exactly the research I'm doing at the moment. So we don't really know that, and that's what we are trying to see. We are trying to understand if animals that are closely related to human or not are processing their own communication as we are processing language. And so I don't have a clear answer yet, but I hope we will be able to tell you like in a year or so if it's the case for baboon, dogs, and even other species. So last but not least, how can my research and result be useful for the future? So what I'm really trying to do in my project is to better understand how the brain of animals is processing communication and how it's different from the human brain processing language. And this can help to first better understand the animal, and how their brain is processing the communication is the first step to better understand their communication and what they have to say. But it's also a good way to better understand language, finding the differences between animal communication and language, and how those differences are processed by the two different brains is a good way to understand how language could have evolved from animal to human, and how the brain processing language can be unique, and that can actually really help for some disease like aphasia, for example. And in this research, we are also only working with non-invasive brain recording method. So we also have the idea to show that it's actually possible and that we can have a result that are as good with invasive method to put forward non-invasive work with animals. So thank you for your question, and I will be happy to answer to more questions another time.